The clock never stops. It ticks whether you're watching it or not, whether you're ready or hiding, whether you're aching or ascending. And somewhere between the shadows of yesterday and the dawn of tomorrow, there comes a moment that begs to be seized, not simply felt or observed, but claimed. April 26 can be that moment. It can be more than a day on a calendar. It can be a doorway, a divine pivot. The soil beneath your tired feet, finally fertile for your rebirth. But you must choose. You must awaken to the echo that has whispered your name while you slept beneath your potential. There is no magic in a date unless you bring the miracle of decision to it. April 26 is not blessed by stars. It is blessed when you decide it is your day. The day you stop pretending you're broken beyond repair. The day you bury the voice that told you it was too late. The day you turn your tears into testimony and your shame into soil for greatness. You do not need to ask the wind if it's time. You do not need to wait for anyone's permission to rise. You need only declare, "It begins now, with me, today." The story of your life is still unfolding. And yes, the past chapters have been heavy. You've cried in secret rooms, smiled while crumbling inside, and walked with broken pieces in your shoes. But none of it disqualifies you. If anything, it qualifies you. The pain prepared you, the silence sharpened you, and the loneliness refined your hearing, so that you can finally hear the quiet pull of your soul calling you home. Home to yourself, to your purpose, to your power. April 26 can be the homecoming you didn't know your spirit was preparing for. You were never meant to stay where you've been stuck. You were never meant to shrink so others could be comfortable. You were never meant to carry guilt like a necklace, heavy and shining with shame. You were meant to glow, not the kind of glow that comes from trends or approval, but the kind that comes from rising from ashes, from saying this fire will not consume me, it will birth me, the kind that radiates from the spine of a person who decided not to be a prisoner of their past. You can begin again, and I don't say that as a cliché. I say that as a promise rooted in eternal truth. Every day is a womb, and if you let it, April 26 will be the day you are born, not into this world, but into your true self. The self that has always existed beneath the layers of fear, the self that remembers the dreams you buried just to survive, the self that still believes in wonder. But beginning again requires more than desire. It requires surrender. You must surrender your excuses, your timelines, your comparisons. You must lay down the mask and pick up your name. Your name, that sacred thing the world tried to redefine with labels and limitations. But you are not what they said. You are not the sum of your failures or the product of your environment or the echo of someone else's disappointment. You are light wrapped in skin. You are resilience dressed in beauty. You are here for something holy, something only you can bring. And on April 26, you have the chance to say yes to your becoming. No one sees the full strength of a tree by looking at its leaves. They see the storm it withstood by examining its roots. You too have roots deeper than your wounds. You too have survived storms that should have snapped your soul in two, but you are still here. That breath in your body is not accidental. That heartbeat in your chest is a reminder. Your assignment is not over. You are still becoming, still unfolding, still blooming, and April 26 can be the day you decide to own that bloom unapologetically. You will be tempted to play small. The world may applaud your silence because it doesn't challenge them. But remember, you were not sent here to be a whisper. You were sent to be a voice for hope, a voice for healing, a voice that refuses to let shame define the volume of your purpose. On April 26, make a vow to yourself. I will no longer shrink to fit cages I was never meant to enter. I will not decorate my prison and call it peace. I will walk out. I will rise up. I will shine, even if it makes others squint. The journey ahead will not be without struggle. New beginnings often come dressed as confusion. There will be moments when doubt dances close and tries to woo you back into old habits. But you must remember this. Your destiny is louder than your doubt. Your calling is stronger than your comfort. Growth feels like pain before it feels like peace. You will outgrow people, patterns, places, and it will hurt, but it will be holy. Because the cost of staying stuck is far greater than the cost of stepping into the unknown. Look at your hands. They carry the evidence of all you've survived. Let them now become the instruments of your transformation. Build the life you've only dared to dream about. Create without apology, love without fear, speak with power, walk with sacred boldness. On April 26, build an altar in your spirit and say, "Here I rose. Here I reclaimed myself. Here I said goodbye to who I had to be in order to be loved." and hello to who I was born to be. Your new life will not look like anyone else's, and that's the point. You are not a copy, you are an original composition of breadth and brilliance. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. The world needs what only you can give, and your time is not running out, it is rising up. This is not your ending, this is your becoming. On April 26, tie a ribbon around your regret and set it down. Leave it. You cannot fly with anchors in your hands. There will be moments when you feel alone in this decision. Not everyone will understand your awakening. Some will mock it, others will resist it. But that's because your rise will remind them of the ways they've settled. Don't let that distract you. Your freedom is not up for debate. Your calling is not a democracy. And your worth is not determined by who chooses to clap. You must learn to clap for yourself, dance for yourself, breathe for yourself. April 26th is your stage. Step into the light. Somewhere a younger version of you is watching. That version remembers every time you broke but didn't bleed, every time you screamed in silence, every time you felt invisible but kept showing up anyway. Live for them, heal for them, rise for them. Let them see that survival is not the end, it's the beginning, that thriving is possible, that joy is not a myth, that peace is not a luxury, that love, real love, begins within. April 26 can be the day you stop asking for signs and start being the sign that healing is possible, that change is beautiful, that it's okay to start over at any age, any stage, that dreams deferred are not dreams denied. You carry galaxies within you. Don't live like a flicker when you were born to blaze. Do not dim to fit in. The world needs your fire, not later, not someday, now. Every step you take after this decision is sacred. Every word you speak over your life matters. Speak with intention. Move with purpose. Choose what nourishes your soul, not what numbs your wounds. This new life you're choosing on April 26 isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. It's about coming back to yourself after years of forgetting who you are. It's about honoring the whispers that refuse to die inside you. You will stumble, you will cry, but you will also soar. You will laugh like you've never been broken. You will dance like your scars are medals. You will love like you've never been betrayed. Because healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means transforming. Let your pain become poetry. Let your past become a platform. Let your life become a lighthouse for others lost in storms. Today, begin as you mean to continue. Let your steps speak of courage. Let your silence thunder with purpose. Let your presence shift atmospheres. No one else can walk this path for you, but oh, what a path it is, rich with promise, ripe with newness. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. And the beauty, it begins with one choice, one breath, one declaration. April 26 is the day I came home to myself. Time does not wait, but you don't have to chase it anymore. You only need to rise into it. Your future isn't ahead of you, it's within you. Breathe it out, walk it forward. And when the sun sets on April 26th, let it find you glowing from the inside out. Not because everything is perfect, but because you chose to live, truly live, for the first time in a long time. You are ready, not because you feel like it, but because the calling will not leave you alone. And that tug in your soul, that pull that won't let you rest, that is purpose, knocking gently but insistently. Open the door. Let the light flood in. Let April 26th be more than a date. Let it be your deliverance. Let it be your decision. Let it be the declaration that the old has passed and the new has come. Not someday, not soon, but now. You are not behind. I know it feels that way, like the world spun forward while you stood still, trapped in your thoughts, wrapped in your fears. I know the weight of wasted time can feel like a chain that tightens with every breath. But what if I told you nothing was wasted? What if I told you that every delay was divine, that every detour was preparing you, that even the doors that slammed in your face were redirecting you towards something greater than you dared to imagine? April 26 does not mock your past, it redeems it. It says, yes, even now, especially now, you can begin again. There's something sacred about starting over. It's not weakness, it's not failure. It's an act of courage so profound it shakes the heavens. Because starting over means you looked at your life and decided, this is not where my story ends. You refused to let the last chapter define the whole book. You stood in the rubble of everything that hurt you and dared to build again, not from what was easy, but from what was true. That is holy, that is strength, that is you, rising in real time. You don't need a parade. You don't need a crowd to witness your rebirth. Sometimes the most powerful changes happen in silence, behind closed doors, when no one is clapping, when you whisper to your own reflection, "We're not going back, we're walking forward now," even if it's trembling. There's glory in that kind of quiet decision, because it comes from a depth that can't be faked. And when April 26th dawns, you will feel it, not just in your mind, but in your bones, the shift, the call, the yes of your soul finally being answered. Let go of the timelines, let go of the pressure to have it all figured out by now. Who told you that your worth was tied to a deadline? Who whispered that your purpose had an expiration date? It was a lie. The truth is, some flowers don't bloom until late spring. Some rivers don't overflow until they've been still for a long time. Some souls, like yours, take longer not because they're broken, but because they are becoming something extraordinary. April 26 is not too late. It's right on time. You don't need more time. You need a new mindset. One that honors your healing. One that speaks life instead of fear. One that recognizes that peace isn't the absence of storms, but the presence of strength within them. You've been through enough. You've doubted enough. It's time to believe again. Not in everything at once, but in something small, something true. Maybe it starts with a deep breath. Maybe it starts with letting go of one lie you've carried for too long. Maybe it starts with forgiving yourself for what you didn't know, for what you couldn't do, for the days you survived when you were meant to thrive. It's okay to feel afraid. Change is scary. Letting go of your old life, even if it was painful, still takes mourning, because we get used to our pain, we learn to function within it. But just because something is familiar doesn't mean it's healthy. And April 26th doesn't ask you to pretend you're fearless. It only asks you to move anyway, through the fear, through the unknown, through the parts of you that still wonder if you're worthy. You are. You always were. There's a version of you on the other side of this decision, one who sleeps in peace, one who smiles without pretending, one who laughs from the belly, not just the mouth, one who is no longer held hostage by trauma, betrayal, or the opinions of others. That version isn't imaginary, it's inevitable. But you must take the first step, and then the next, one moment at a time, not perfectly, but intentionally. And on April 26, make your intention clear to the universe. I am walking in the direction of my healing. I am not going back. There will be days after when the old life calls to you like a song you once danced to. Familiar, comforting, but remember how it ended. Remember how your soul felt caged, how you had to shrink to survive, how you woke up tired even after sleep. That wasn't peace. That was survival, and you were made for more. You were made for overflow, for abundance not just in things but in love, in joy, in meaning. You don't have to perform for worthiness anymore. It is your birthright. You have gifts the world hasn't even seen yet. Parts of your heart that have been waiting patiently to be invited into the light. Don't hide them anymore. Don't rob the world of the healing you carry, the hope you bring, the wisdom you've earned in darkness. April 26 is your permission to unfold, to be seen, to take up space, to tell your story without shame, to love your body as it is, to honor your journey without erasing any part of it, even the messy parts, even the ones that still sting. Stop apologizing for evolving. Not everyone will come with you, and that's okay. Some chapters require solitude. Some seasons are meant for pruning. You are not mean for choosing yourself. You are not selfish for protecting your peace. You are wise, you are growing, and anyone who truly loves you will grow with you. April 26 is not the end of relationships, it's the beginning of aligned ones, where you are valued, not used, seen, not just tolerated, loved, not just needed. You are stronger than you realize. Think of all the things you've survived, all the moments you thought would break you, but somehow you're still here, breathing, hoping, healing. That is not weakness, that is resilience, that is power. That is the very reason your life is about to shift, because you didn't give up when you had every reason to, because you kept showing up, because your spirit refused to die. April 26 will not transform you unless you show up for it with intention. You cannot sleepwalk into your new life. You must awaken. You must say no to what numbs and yes to what nourishes. You must create boundaries like fences around your peace. You must speak over yourself like you would a child you adore, with kindness, with belief, with fierce hope, because how you speak to yourself will shape your journey. Speak like you expect a miracle. Speak like you are the miracle. This new life isn't about fame or fortune. It's about freedom, the kind that lets you breathe deeply, the kind that makes you dance in your kitchen for no reason, the kind that lets you walk away from people who never saw your value, the kind that lets you sit in stillness and feel safe in your own skin. That's what April 26 offers you, not just a better life, but a true one, authentic, whole, unshaken by noise, rooted in love. Give yourself grace. You won't get it all right. You'll still make mistakes, but they will be new mistakes, not recycled ones. And in those mistakes, you will grow. You will stretch. You will laugh at things that used to make you cry. You will wake up and realize one day the weight is gone. The heaviness has lifted, not because the world changed, but because you did, because you showed up, because you said yes to yourself. April 26 is not about fixing your life. It's about owning it. The mess, the magic, the mystery, all of it. It's about reclaiming your voice, not the one you use to please others, but the one that speaks truth from your belly. It's about saying, I will no longer betray myself just to belong. I choose to belong to me. And from that choice will come a life that feels like home. You do not need to wait to be chosen. You have always been chosen. You are not late to your destiny. You are arriving right on time. And all of heaven is leaning in, watching, hoping, cheering as you make this sacred pivot, this holy return, this courageous beginning. Let April 26 be marked not just in ink, but in spirit. Let it be the day everything changed, not because the world changed, but because you finally did. And when the sun sets and the sky blushes with the colors of transition, let your heart echo the truth it now knows. I am not who I was. I am who I am becoming, and I love her. I love him. I love this version that chose to rise, because in the end, all of this, all the pain, the beauty, the struggle, the grace, was leading you here, to this threshold, to this moment, to this life that was always waiting for your yes. Take it, embrace it, walk through it, and never look back. And when the dust of your past begins to settle, when the echoes of your old fears start to fade into silence, you'll begin to hear something else, something deeper. It's not noise, it's not chaos, it's peace. It's the soft and steady rhythm of your own soul finally allowed to speak. And what it says is simple. You were always worthy, not because you proved yourself, not because you earned it through suffering, but because you exist. And existence itself, when wrapped in the fabric of truth and self-awareness, is a miracle. April 26 will not come with fireworks. There may be no thunder, no immediate lightning bolt from the sky, but if you're paying attention, you'll notice the subtle yet powerful shift in the atmosphere around your life. The way you speak will change, the way you breathe will feel different. The heaviness that used to rest on your chest will begin to lighten, not all at once, but piece by piece, day by day. That is how true transformation unfolds, quietly, gently, until one day you look in the mirror and can no longer recognize the shell you once lived in. You will no longer be defined by what they said about you, by what they didn't see in you, by what they failed to love within you. Their inability to recognize your light never dimmed your brilliance. Their blindness was never your burden. April 26 is the moment you stop carrying the weight of other people's limited vision. You take it off, you set it down, you release yourself from the need to convince anyone of your worth. Your worth is no longer on trial. It never should have been. The old version of you survived because it had to. It learned to bend so it wouldn't break. It smiled through tears. It walked on cracked floors, pretending it didn't feel the shaking. But the new you, the one being born through intention, through fire, through love, does not have to survive anymore. This you will live, fully, boldly, tenderly. You will make choices not from fear, but from freedom. You will say yes only when your soul agrees, and you will say no with a confidence that doesn't require explanation. It's a strange thing, realizing your own power. It can feel unfamiliar at first, like trying to wear shoes that finally fit after years of squeezing into smaller ones. You'll stumble, you'll second guess, but soon you'll learn the rhythm, you'll find your stride. And when you walk, the ground will feel different, firmer, steadier, like it was always meant to support your becoming. April 26 is the day you begin walking in that power, even if your legs still tremble. There will be tears, but they will be healing ones, the kind that cleanse, not crush, the kind that say, this pain has taught me, but it will not trap me. You may cry for the girl who stayed too long, for the boy who wasn't protected, for the version of you who didn't know better. That's okay. We honor them, we bless them, and then we rise with them, carrying not shame but wisdom, because even in your darkest hours, something divine was growing inside you. Not defeat, not despair, but destiny. Don't rush this process. Don't expect overnight perfection. April 26 is not the end goal, it is the threshold, a beginning, a promise, a commitment to become the version of yourself who no longer hides behind the pain. It's a sacred agreement to show up, even when you're unsure, even when the old life tries to call you back. You'll know better now, you'll see clearer, and most of all, you'll feel the shift, like a tide changing, slow but unstoppable. You'll start to speak differently. Words of defeat will be replaced with declarations of life. I can't will become I will. I'm afraid will turn into I'm ready. You'll stop waiting for the perfect moment and realize that your courage creates the moment. You'll stop asking for permission and begin writing your own permission slip, signed with every step you take toward freedom. And that freedom will not be conditional. It will not be fragile. It will be rooted in truth, and truth once accepted cannot be uprooted. Old habits will resist, old mindsets will whisper. But you are no longer obligated to entertain them. You've learned to recognize the lies, the ones that said you're too late, too broken, too lost, the ones that made you feel like your light was a burden. You see through them now, and once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. That's the power of awakening. That's the gift of April 26. It peels back the veil not just from the world but from your own heart. This new life will ask more of you, yes, but it will also give more than you've ever known. You will be met with clarity, with confirmation, with divine encounters that feel too aligned to be coincidence. You'll walk into rooms that you once only dreamed of. You'll find yourself in conversations that speak to your calling. People will begin to mirror back to you the beauty that you finally believe is yours. Not because they changed, but because you did. You'll begin to trust yourself again. After all the doubt, after all the second guessing, you'll realize your intuition wasn't broken. It was just buried beneath fear, beneath conditioning, beneath the noise of a world that tried to mold you into something you were never meant to be. But now, you're listening. Now, you're aware. And awareness is the birthplace of power. It won't matter if they clap for you. It won't matter if they understand. Because you'll no longer be living for applause, you'll be living for alignment, for peace, for truth. And that kind of living is loud in its silence. It roars without screaming. It shakes without chaos. It moves mountains because it knows it can. That is what you are stepping into. That is who you are becoming. Let April 26 be your line in the sand. The day you stop trying to fit into a life that was never yours. The day you stop shrinking so others could feel comfortable. The day you realized you didn't need fixing, you needed unfolding, you needed space. And now you have it, space to heal, space to rise, space to become. Not in one grand leap, but in one sacred breath at a time. This life you're building will not look like everyone else's. It's not supposed to. You are not a copy, you are not a template. You are a masterpiece in motion. And masterpieces take time, they require patience and reverence. So be gentle with yourself, tend to your soul like a garden. Pull out the weeds of shame and comparison. Water the roots of grace and self-trust. Watch what blooms when you believe. You'll begin to see signs, not just in the world around you, but within. The peace you feel in rooms that once drained you. The calm in moments that used to trigger you. The excitement in places that once made you feel small. That's transformation. That's the inside shifting the outside. That's you becoming whole. Not because you fixed every flaw, but because you stopped seeing yourself as flawed in the first place.
You will outgrow people, and that's okay. Not everyone can walk where you're going. Some are lessons, not lifelines, and learning that difference is part of your awakening. Let them go with love, release with grace. Make space for the ones who mirror your growth, not your trauma. The ones who see your light and don't try to dim it, who meet you not in competition, but in compassion. Those are your people, and they will find you when you start living in truth. April 26th will be a quiet revolution, one that shakes the core of who you are, not with noise, but with purpose, one that restores everything the past tried to steal: your joy, your clarity, your voice, your hope, one that reminds you that no moment is wasted if it leads you back to yourself. No wound is in vain if it teaches you how to love deeper. No detour is pointless if it brings you home. You will cry, you will laugh, you will stretch, you will fall and rise again, but most of all, you will live fully. And when someone asks you what happened, why you changed, why you glow differently, why you walk like you belong, you'll smile. You won't have to explain. You'll simply whisper to yourself, April 26. That was the day I remembered who I was. You may not realize it in the first moment, but something eternal will have shifted within you. It's not loud, it's not performative, it doesn't ask for validation, it simply is a quiet confidence, a steady flame, a knowing that has been waiting patiently for you to return. And once you do, once you finally see it, you'll wonder how you ever walked this earth not fully awakened to your own brilliance. You will begin to honor your story, not just the victories, but the valleys. You'll touch the scar and bless it, not because the pain was fair or deserved, but because it shaped the strength in you that cannot be taught. You'll no longer resent the journey, you'll reframe it. The betrayal becomes a lesson in discernment. The delay becomes a masterclass in patience. The silence becomes sacred space where your soul learned to speak. What once felt like punishment will transform into preparation. April 26th isn't just a date on the calendar, it's a divine interruption, a line drawn between who you used to be and who you were always meant to become. And when that day comes, something in you will stand up taller, not because your circumstances changed instantly, but because you did. You'll stop waiting for the perfect condition to become the person you dream of. You'll realize that becoming has nothing to do with conditions and everything to do. You'll begin to breathe differently, not just through your lungs, but through your spirit, deep, steady breaths that remind you you're safe now. You're allowed to hope. You're allowed to believe again. The life you once feared was too big for you, too beautiful for someone like you, will now begin to whisper, I've been waiting. And this time you won't run from it, you'll walk toward it, even if your hands shake, even if your voice trembles. You'll show up. That's what courage looks like. And oh, the light that will begin to spill from you, soft, healing light, the kind that doesn't blind but invites. You won't even try to shine, you just will. Because truth glows, healing radiates, joy doesn't need to be announced, it's felt. You'll start attracting peace because peace has found a home inside you. You'll no longer chase love that costs your voice. You'll no longer settle for rooms that require your silence. You'll be too rooted now, too aware, too alive. You will begin to set boundaries not out of anger, but out of honor. For yourself, for your purpose, for the divine spark placed within you. You'll stop explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand. Your energy will become sacred ground, not open territory. You'll guard it with intention. You'll protect it with love. Because now you know your presence is valuable. Your time is a gift. Your heart is not a playground. It is holy ground. There will be moments where the old you wants to resurface. It's familiar, after all, comfortable even in its pain. But you will remember comfort isn't the same as peace, numb isn't the same as whole. The past may knock on your door, but you don't have to answer. You'll be too busy building, too focused on becoming. And slowly the voice of the old life will grow quieter, its grip will loosen, because truth, once tasted, ruins you for anything less. And then something beautiful will happen. You'll begin to dream again. Wild, bold, breathtaking dreams. Not dreams rooted in survival, but in joy, in possibility, in truth. You'll no longer ask, can I really have this? Instead, you'll declare, it's already mine. I'm just walking toward it. And as you dream, you'll begin to act. You'll take steps that feel divine. You'll write that book, start that business, end that cycle, say yes to the unknown and no to what no longer aligns. The people around you will notice. Some will celebrate, others may resist, not because you've done something wrong, but because your rising reminds them of their own choice not to. Don't shrink to make them comfortable. Don't dim to avoid rejection. Keep rising, keep shining. Your obedience to your truth will be the very thing that frees someone else to live theirs. Your becoming will give someone else permission to start again. This is what April 26 will mark. Not just a new day, but a new way, a shift so deep, so holy, that the echoes of it will ripple through everything you touch. Your relationships will begin to evolve. Your words will carry weight. Your silence will speak volumes. Not because you've become someone new, but because you've returned to the truth of who you've always been. That's what makes it so powerful. It's not artificial, it's ancient. It's not trendy, it's timeless. You'll feel it in the quiet hours of the morning when the world is still and the veil is thin. You'll sit with yourself and realize there's no war within anymore. The battle is not gone, but the battleground has changed. You are no longer your enemy. You are your home, your healing, your hope. And from that place of alignment, everything will flow. Creativity, connection, clarity. They will no longer be things you strive for, but things you naturally. You'll begin to understand that alignment doesn't mean ease, but it does mean peace. It means walking through the fire knowing you won't be burned. It means trusting that closed doors are not punishments, but redirections. It means holding vision even when your eyes can't see the full picture yet. And it means showing up again and again, not because you feel ready, but because you know the time is now. So when April 26 comes, treat it with reverence. Honor it not as a finish line, but as a sacred threshold. Step through it with intention. Speak over your life with authority. Don't beg for what's already yours. Receive it. Stand in it. Live like you believe it. Because this life, this new beginning, this holy unfolding, it's not a possibility anymore. It's your reality. And every breath you take from this moment on can be a testament to your rebirth. Let the world watch. Let them wonder. Let them ask. What change? You'll smile, not out of pride, but from the quiet joy of knowing, of remembering, of returning. And as you walk forward, heart steady and eyes open, you'll no longer be asking for signs. You are the sign, the evidence, the living proof that it's never too late to begin again. And as the sun sets on that day, your soul will whisper what it's been longing to say for years. I'm home. I'm free. I'm finally me. So now, as the final light of April 26 rests upon your shoulders, let it be more than just the end of a day. Let it be the declaration of a new beginning. Let this moment wrap around you like a promise fulfilled, a whisper from heaven saying, you made it. Not because everything is perfect, but because you have become willing to let go, to rise up, to step into the truth of your becoming. You are not who you used to be. You have shed the old skin of doubt, shame, and hesitation. You now walk with the quiet strength of someone who knows they belong. From this day forward, your life will speak of power, of transformation, of grace. Every step you take will be guided. Every word you speak will be aligned. And when the world looks to you, they won't just see a survivor. They'll see a light, a story, a miracle in motion. April 26 was not the end. It was the spark, the breath, the awakening, the shift from fear to freedom. And now it's your time to rise. Not someday, not maybe, now. This is the first day of your new life. Let the world witness your becoming.